COVID cases on the decline and restrictions being lifted across the state, we take a look at the political push underway in Arizona to help the arts survive the pandemic, plus details on a new ballot initiative aimed at helping those who can't afford a lawyer in immigration proceedings. And later this half hour on Break It Down, the similarities between Black and Asian American Pacific Islander activists.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Gabrielle Sabat. Thank you for joining us. This weekend will be the first in many months that bars and restaurants in Arizona will not have to restrict capacity or make customers wear masks, but businesses still have the right to require face coverings. Governor Doug Ducey issued the executive order yesterday, allowing events with more than 50 people, like sports gatherings, to operate as usual without government approval. It's important to note, however, that schools and public transport still require masks. Ducey eased COVID-19 restrictions across the state after seeing a drop in daily cases and an increase in vaccinations. There are concerns from some that these guidelines have been lifted too soon, since Arizona only expanded vaccinations to anyone over 16 on Wednesday. The same people you love to listen to sing, watch dance, or see perform are some of the hardest hit economically during the pandemic. But as Faith Abercrombie tells us, a new bill at the Arizona legislature hopes to help keep the curtains open on the arts.
For some performers, singing alone in their apartment to their couch was their version of working from home. Although many of these artists aren't singing to an in-person audience quite yet, they prepare for performances and competitions as we see the end of quarantine. Many performing art spaces are quiet. But as the pandemic plays out, songs are no longer being sung to just furniture.
It's not the same. I'm singing to my living room couch.
House Bill 2755 would give $5 million to art institutions across Arizona. The support will help artists like Cheyenne Koss continue their career on a high note.
I had almost a year without working because contracts were canceled and things couldn't happen in the way they were supposed to happen.
They need something to uplift them. I know so many artists who have changed vocations just because of survival.
If it becomes law, the bill would give money to the Arizona Commission on the Arts to distribute statewide.
We realize that this is not merely a feel-good bill. This is really a bill about survival for a lot of these organizations.
The arts and culture sector will be an important part of restarting the economy, but maybe even more importantly, restarting our human connection to one another.
During a time of social distancing, the arts could help sound the right note and help people reconnect again.
People are really craving that interpersonal interaction with one another, and I think that music is a perfect way to kind of get that back.
The healing process through art might look different than before.
You understand?
Yes.
It's very hard because you can't see how I'm doing it with my mask on. But you got it. Yeah. Here we go.
But Koss and other artists are ready for when doors open back up.
Coming in here and letting it all go and adopting like a persona, a character, something I can use to express things I don't get to express in my everyday life. I love it. There's nothing like it in the world.
Like other art organizations around the country and world, the Arizona Opera continues performing virtually or socially distanced. House Bill 2755 passed the House and it now moves to the Senate. In the studio, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
More than 1 million people suffer from hearing loss in Arizona. So Arizona police are expanding their training to help break down barriers between them and the hearing impaired. The 8-part training program will provide officers with communication techniques, interpretation services, and assistive devices. It will also touch on legal rights and responsibilities outlined in the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which bans disability-related discrimination by federally funded agencies. The goal is to better serve the deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind community members. Right now, people who cannot afford a lawyer in immigration proceedings currently cannot have one appointed to them, as would happen in criminal cases. But a new ballot initiative might change that. Cronkite News reporter Emma Vandenide explains the Pima County measure and the challenges that lie ahead on the campaign trail.
The initiative plans to create an office for non-citizen defense that is funded by the public. It's an evolving legal concept that is taking roots in Pima County. And for the campaign organizers, their passion runs deep.
It's just not fair, and it's long overdue.
Margot Cowan is ready to see some change in courtrooms. Cowan works as a public defender for Pima County. She represents several types of cases, but she wants to add one more.
There's a need in the community for publicly funded lawyers like public defenders to represent indigent Pima County families who are placed in deportation proceedings.
She plans to achieve this need through Justice for All, her new campaign that launched in 2020. They want to provide lawyers through a government office funded by taxes, the first of its kind created by voter legislation. In the United States, if someone is charged with a crime, they are able to get a lawyer. But in some civil cases, that right is not extended. And according to civil rights lawyer Danny Ortega, one of those topics is immigration.
The government typically does not provide legal counsel as a matter of right.
Many individuals in Pima County are affected by this. A study conducted by the Binational Migration Institute at the University of Arizona found that those in deportation proceedings only win their cases 14% of the time without a lawyer present. If they get one, that number jumps to 62%.
Here's a layperson, often someone with not much formal education, it just doesn't stand a chance.
Yet in Pima County, Cowan needs 58,000 signatures before it even appears on the 2022 ballot, an effort that Ortega said has many tricky steps.
The initial stages is in two parts. Getting qualified as an initiative that can go forward, it will be challenged, and getting qualified electors to sign those petitions, which will also be challenged.
It's unclear how the vote would turn out for a taxpayer-funded proposal. Back in 2019, voters in Tucson rejected the measure to make it a sanctuary city. Ortega believes voters might act similarly to this.
If you can't get a pro-immigrant initiative, proposal, whatever you call it, in Tucson, you're not going to get it approved anywhere.
Yet Cowan is still confident, not only in her campaign, but also in her community.
We're committed to making this a success. We're committed to keeping families together. And there's no greater sadness than through government action, the destruction of families.
The Justice for All campaign is still in the process of collecting signatures. If you are interested in learning more about the measure, you can visit their website at pimacountyjusticeforall.org. In the Broadcast Center, Emma Vandenide, Cronkite News.
Some sad news to report now. Grand Canyon University forward Oscar Freyer has died following a car crash on a Northern California highway just days after playing in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Freyer's sister and a third person yet to be identified also died in the crash. Freyer had just completed his senior year at GCU. It was capped by scoring 8 points against Iowa in GCU's March Madness game last weekend. This was GCU's first appearance in the tournament and was the only Arizona university to have gained a playoff berth. He was studying political science and mass communication and was set to graduate this spring. Arizona's professional sports team have posted to social media to share their condolences to Oscar's family and the GCU community. GCU will hold a celebration of life service in the school's arena on Tuesday to honor Freyer and those in the GCU community who have passed away this year. A GoFundMe has also been set up to help with the family with the cost of both funerals. You can find it on the GCU men's basketball Twitter.
Good evening. I'm Abigail Verwick. Let's take a look at our weather this upcoming weekend. Looking at our radar, we are going to see some clouds move across the state. Here in Arizona, clouds are not something that we're used to. And with those clouds, they are going to be bringing with them a small chance of light rain. But what does this mean for this evening? Looking at tonight at around 6 o'clock, it's going to be partly cloudy with a temperature of about 63 degrees. That temperature is going to drop down to just below 60 degrees by 10 o'clock. And while there isn't really a chance of rain for us here tonight in Phoenix, it will definitely be cloudy throughout the entire evening. But these cool temperatures are just going to continue as we move into Saturday. Looking at our highs for Saturday, we have some gorgeous temperatures. Our highest temperatures are going to be in Yuma at 81 and Lake Havasu also at 81 degrees. Everything else is really below 80 degrees. It's going to be absolutely beautiful tomorrow on Saturday. but it will start to heat back up as we move through the weekend. On Sunday, we are looking at a high of 84 degrees, and Monday even warmer with a high of almost 90 degrees. Those sunny skies are going to continue as we move through into the work week. On Tuesday, it's going to drop down to a high of 84 degrees. However, it's going to rise back up as we move through Wednesday and Thursday, back up into the 90s. So we're going to have a high of 93 degrees on Friday and 92 degrees next Saturday. That is your 8-day weather forecast. In the Weather Center, I'm Abigail Verwick.
Coming up after the break, huge strides were made as an illustrator became the first Indigenous artist to win a medal for children's books.
Change has become a constant. The way we embrace it defines our future.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
Europe is on fire, Franklin.
Nature is so resilient, and I think that's what inspires me.
It is pretty amazing.
The Black church has sustained the African-American people from slavery to this day.
We are a testament to the goodness and the grace of God.
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
Stream the best of PBS on any device with the PBS Video app. All your favorite drama, history, science, news, and documentaries, all in one place. Watch your PBS station live or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and locally produced shows from your station.
Sign in and start streaming today.
Next time on Vera, a young woman is murdered while vacationing with friends.
There's a shotgun cartridge full in the chest.
Suspicion falls on a local hunter.
Might have heard a car.
Some car, could have been anyone.
But Joe's mysterious connection to the suspect could compromise the case.
Robert? Not him.
Was Lizzie murdered with the same shotgun?
What reason would he possibly have for shooting a woman that he's never met?
Vera.
All new, Saturday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. Take a journey with Arizona PBS. Join us every Sunday afternoon for Destination Drama. Watch all your favorite PBS dramas like Grantchester.
I'm William Davenport, new vicar of Grantchester.
Poldark.
Nothing in my life has meaning without you.
And Victoria.
I know that I'm young, but I know my duty.
And if you missed a recent primetime drama, we'll help you catch up on those too. Destination Drama. Every Sunday afternoon at 1. Only on Arizona PBS.
Michaela Goad is the first Native American to win a Randolph-Caldecott Medal, a top industry award for illustrations in children's books. Cronkite News reporter Brianna Alexander spoke with the artist and a Phoenix librarian about the impact of the achievement.
The Caldecott Medal for Most Distinguished American Picture Book for Children was established in 1937. It's taken 83 years for an Indigenous artist to receive the medal. I spoke with illustrator Michaela Goad about the value of proper representation.
Michaela Goad is the first Native American to win the prestigious Randolph-Caldecott Medal for her illustrations in We Are Water Protectors, a children's book inspired by Indigenous-led movements across North America.
Children are seeing what we are telling them is important and valued. So if we can give them diversity and inclusion, that helps not only, like in my case, since I work in Indigenous Kidlit, it not only helps Indigenous children feel seen and valued and important, it also helps non-Indigenous children and adults see a whole range of lived experiences.
The book shows Indigenous activists who led protests like the one by the Standing Rock Sioux tribe against the Dakota Access Pipeline.
I really wanted to make Standing Rock water protectors and water protectors around the world proud, and I wanted them to feel seen. And then within that, there's a lot of other elements I wanted to bring forward and really speak for Mother Earth.
Her goals were to give Indigenous people an authentic voice, highlight the beauty of nature, and the need to work together.
Indigenous people really protect and are stewards of the land, and they protect so much of the world's biodiversity. And so I think listening to them and taking their lead and helping support them and learning how to be an ally is incredibly important.
Sean George is a South Region Manager for the Phoenix Public Library System. He says it's important for Indigenous people to be correctly represented in books.
I myself am mixed blood Choctaw and Muskogee, as well as European American heritage. So it's it's a very important topic to me. People come to literature for a lot of different reasons, but very often it involves looking for some sort of reflection of our own experience in what we read, so that we can feel some sort of affirmation or validation, but also important is to see the rest of the world, or perhaps other worlds outside of our experience.
George, a former youth librarian, says children have been hurt by Native American stereotypes.
I've known children that have expressed a lot of pain and frustration over seeing books that describe or represent Indigenous people and children as less than, or books about the frontier where they're treated, the stereotypes of savages and things like that. And that really does. I mean, I've known children who have said that's not the way our culture is. That's not the way my family is. That's not the way my grandparents were.
That's why George appreciates Gold's work.
To see a book show you a mirror when you've gone so long and never seen one, it's a huge impact. So very personal.
So I've heard from a lot of wonderful people, and I do think it's inspiring, Native youth and non-Native youth. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because I might be the first, but I definitely won't be the last. And that is a really, really wonderful thing.
According to Gold, We Are Water Protectors is currently sold out in some areas, but it's still available for purchase online. In the studio, Brianna Alexander, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.